We really appreciate everybody listening last week to our pilot episode. We had a lot of fun. Appreciate all the feedback, good and bad.
Good and bad. Sometimes I'm going to say bruh. So.
We had some topic requests for this week, so we're definitely going to hit on those. So let's get into it.
Let's dive in.
All right, so the NBA All-Star Weekend happened over this weekend. All-Star Game, Celebrity All-Star Game, dunk contest. It's a big weekend for the All-Star break. I say let's go on All-Star Game first.
I think the All-Star Game is such a fun environment for just the players, just because I feel like they kind of get to be kids again. Mm-hmm. So I think it's always fun to watch kind of what happens within the game. One of my favorite moments that I wrote down was with Luka and I think it was Ja Morant. You want to help me?
Ja Morant.
Yeah, you want to help me out with the pronunciation. Ja. He went up for a dunk and threw it off the glass and put it in, obviously. And Luka gets the rebound and was like, great job. Like, I can do that too. Just kind of joking with him. And I feel like those moments are always fun in games.
Something I did want to say, though, is there's been a lot of talk that this All-Star Game was nothing compared to any other game that's happened before, and I'd have to agree. Comment that I saw that absolutely blew my mind was, as a basketball fan, I would have felt more respected if they just kept their warm-ups on the entire time. Wow. And
that's a hot take.
That was a hot take, but after watching some of the replays and everything, because I as we know, I missed the whole thing. I don't have cable. I am a college student.
That is the most Gen Z thing I think we've ever said.
Literally don't have cable.
Hulu forever.
I'm sorry if anybody no, I'm sorry. Nobody has to get it from me. But we lost Giannis in the game, lost Bron, and then it was just a glorified dunk contest.
Right.
I mean, there was no defense. For a good reason. We don't want injuries. About to start playoffs. Fair.
Yes. But I feel like no defense is a common trend in the All-Star game. But I mean, I guess this year was a whole nother level because how many half-court shots did you have?
No defense is a common trend in the NBA.
Yes.
I mean,
literally.
That's why I struggle to watch NBA anymore, because I do feel like it's just layup lines continued until it gets to playoffs, and then we start playing a little bit harder. But I'm going to counter you, Kinzie, and I don't like the All-Star game.
No?
I think I'm not going to agree with the comment that you said it'd be better if they kept their warm-ups off, but there's a problem here. They don't take it seriously. It's not good TV. It's not good airtime. I mean, there were tweets all over saying, this is terrible. I've turned it off. I'm not going to keep watching this because it's just, they don't take it it's not competitive basketball.
And I think, sorry not to cut you off, but I think part of that comes from, the NBA. This year, their target score was 182. They are designing the game to not have defense so you can score numbers like that. And also, I thought the setup was interesting this year, how at the start of every quarter, they reset the score. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah. Well, they put the score. I mean, this has been a problem, them not taking it seriously, and that's why they put the score goal, I guess. Yeah. That's why they set that. So then they go a little bit harder toward the end in the fourth, but the rest of the game, it's just.
But I'm so sorry. At the level you have to be at to play in the NBA, it shouldn't be here's an incentive to go hard. As you said, it should naturally, yeah. And like you said, it's glorified layup lines, right? I don't know how many times I've watched a game this past season. It's only gotten worse because I haven't noticed it previous to the past couple of years where we're doing a fast break, people are walking.
Yeah.
Walking down the court.
How much money are you being paid to be in that league?
Yes, and I mean, it's how everybody says, oh, the NFL scripted. That's why people are thinking that. We are not putting effort into the games anymore.
Same thing when you get into the series. Are people purposely losing Game 3, Game 4, so you have a full 7 series?
I don't know, but I do like what you said, Kia. I mean, at this level, why should there be an incentive to go hard? And I want to play devil's advocate for the players in a sense of, well, maybe they're not going hard because playoffs are 2 months away. And, I mean, the bottom line is these players are not going to risk their health for an all-star game.
Yeah.
LeBron James did.
He did.
He sustained a hand injury going up to block a shot, clipped his pinky on the rim, and had to sit out for the rest of the game.
And Giannis, first play, sprained his wrist.
Yeah. And that was big news, too. He was headed to New York to get that looked at. I mean, with the minimal defense we did see, the block attempts by LeBron, that kind of stuff, resulted in injury. And that's what they're trying to avoid. And then LeBron couldn't even play the second half. And one of the teams is Team LeBron. So, I don't know. I don't know the solution. I mean, maybe it's just no more All-Star game. Or maybe at a different time. I mean, I know the All-Star break is the All-Star break, and it gives the guys a break. But for the guys that are in the game, that play, and it's not a break for them.
No, it's not.
And everybody else is getting a break. So, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but I think that they've tried solutions, and at the end of the day, maybe it's just no more All-Star game.
Yeah.
Because it's not good TV.
It's not good TV. It's not being taken seriously. And, I mean, like you said, what is the solution for that? Especially because it's happening in games. Yeah. Like, All-Star game might as well have been another form of a regular presented game. Like, that's just how things are now.
They get no stats.
Nope.
It doesn't help their team. I mean, it's
I would almost say it's the ultimate game of pickup with, like, your friends.
Yeah.
Who can go throw up a dunk? Who can self-lob off the backboard up to do a 360? And, like, what I think you have to break down, like, what's the purpose of the All-Star game?
Yeah.
And I think it's for a fan interaction, and I think it's a big income generator. But, I mean, we're sitting here, and you guys are talking about how you don't want to watch it anymore. I mean,
yeah, it was kind of disappointing, to be honest.
I didn't make it a point to watch it this year, so I'm curious to see the future of the All-Star weekend.
I think it's definitely, as it goes on, it will be geared towards children.
Yes.
Not to be, like, rude or anything. I just feel like what I was seeing, the dunks, the type of basketball I was watching, that is literally, if I was a kid, I would be like, whoa.
Harlem Globetrotters.
It's an awe moment.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Not competition.
So,
All-Star Weekend is the new Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, does Jason Tatum go home with the MVP after scoring 55 points and feel like that's a flex?
I would hope not, because it's not a real game. Like, there's no defense there.
Props to him, because he is a great player.
Yes.
Like, we cannot take that away from him. He is amazing. But I was also thinking about that. Like, you just played in this practically fraud. It's a fraud game. Like,
fraudulent.
Okay. Anyways, you just played in this fraud game. You take home MVP, hang it on the wall, and move on to the next thing, because that is not.
But is the MVP of the All-Star game something to be proud of anymore? I think that's a good question.
That is a good question.
If I could ask Jason Tatum, are you proud of that? Like,
it's probably yeah.
It's an award. I mean, he dropped what, 20 in the third quarter alone?
Something like that.
55 total on the game, but how many of those were guarded or?
Yeah, I mean, 55 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Like, I don't know if that's something to be proud of when it's the game that it is.
Yeah. Good question though. I mean, I don't know. Let's go to the exciting stuff here, the dunk contest.
Yes.
Mac McClung.
My king.
The savior of the dunk contest.
He saved All-Star Weekend.
He did.
He put it on his back.
He did. All 6'2" of him.
He put it on his back and he took it all the way back home.
But it's nothing new for him. He's been doing that since he blew up. He got big for his dunks in high school. Like, let's not forget, that's where he started. His
YouTube channel was, he goes back to high school. He was Mac McClung dunking.
Yeah. And I think he knows that that's his roots, and that's kind of why I think he threw on his old high school jersey.
Yeah.
I saw in an interview that he wanted to represent the town of Gate City, a whopping 1,600 people.
It's a small town.
Insane. Portales Part 2.
I'll be in the dunk contest soon.
No, he put on a show for sure. I loved watching him.
I watched the replay. I was watching them all. And so his was obviously my favorite. I liked Jericho Sims. and I did like Kenyon Martin Jr. dunking with his dad. He had his dad throw the lob. I thought that was so cute. But to bring it back to to Mac, saw that he took home $100,000 in this dunk contest. Do you know how much money that he has made during his pro career?
$106,000.
Yeah. So
that was a good payday.
If anybody's ready to be balling, please go to a dunk competition because.
Yeah, he just.
I'm balling.
He just doubled his earnings.
It's a good weekend for him.
It is. And considering his current NBA track record, he's only ever played in 2 NBA games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a G League superstar. He's played one game with the Lakers, 1 game with the Bulls, and then just got picked up by the 76ers, but still has not played. I mean.
And I like his response. Someone in an interview asked him if they thought that this would be, like, the breakthrough of his career. And he was like, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But at the end of the day, like, I'm going to go hard. Like, I'm going to go back into practices and work hard and find my way into that rotation. And no matter how long it's going to take, he's going to fulfill his dream. Last week, we kind of talked about Jalen Hurts, who gets to claim him, OU or Alabama, who gets to claim Mac, Tech or Georgetown.
I think he left Georgetown kind of unsettled in a way. They had to split ways. Originally in high school, he was committed to Rutgers.
Yeah.
Decommitted from Rutgers, ends up at Georgetown. And I think after the first year, after his first season, he was going to declare for the draft. The NBA wanted to see him more in a point guard role, and that was just something he wasn't getting at Georgetown. Transfers to Tech under Beard, and I mean, he had some good numbers, but declares again. And, I mean, he's just kind of been camped out in the G League ever since with a couple NBA appearances here and there. So I don't know. I mean, he's kind of been all over. I mean, he ended up doing 2 seasons at Georgetown, a season at Tech. So
I don't know who gets to take their.
He's for everyone.
He is. He's a man of the people.
He's a man of the people.
He's a man for Gate City.
Yeah, Gate City gets to claim.
They own him.
Gets to claim him.
Yeah.
They get the rights to him.
But I'll say NBA legends are tweeting about you and you've only ever played in 2 games, like Steph Curry out here tweeting about Mac McClung, Nate Robinson, Mo Bamba, Ginobili.
Yeah.
And then Magic Johnson, he's the one that gave him the title of savior. I think Magic Johnson's tweet said Mac McClung personally saved the dunk contest. That's awesome. That's great for Mac McClung as he was about to enter a contract with the 76ers.
Do you think that puts pressure on the Sixers to kind of let him see the floor?
I don't know.
It definitely doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Maybe it's an eye-opener, like maybe we should let this kid kind of try it out. Give him some, what's the word I'm looking here? Not potential, but give him a chance.
Yeah. I think the NBA, all sports these days are so much about, it's just a business.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much about business. It's getting butts in seats and selling tickets. And
butts in seats. Someone tagline that. That's a
butts in
merchandise.
seats. That's on.
That's what it is. I mean, you're trying to you have sellout crowds and everything, and if you have in the starting lineup, you have the dunk contest champion. I mean, I'd go watch the 76ers with Mac McClung.
Yes. Mm-hmm. On his Instagram, he just posted a video, kind of like a cinematic video of the whole weekend, and I thought it was a really cool thing, kind of talking about his career. And just like through it all, he continues to just work hard and try his best to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate those kind of storylines rather than guys that are just kind of braggadocious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my favorite Mac McClung moments it still gives me chills. I'll never forget this. As a senior in high school, and Tech is in the top 20 at this point, maybe 14 or 15, goes down to Austin to play a top 5 UT, and scores tied up. Beard has a chance to call a timeout, and he doesn't. I remember looking at my dad thinking, he's just going to let him just go. Okay, so we're under 5 seconds here. Beard's just going to let him go for it and then see. And I'm thinking, man, okay, he's not going to call a timeout. Okay, here comes McClung. And Peavy, who's now at TCU, there was a screen. I think there was supposed to be a screen set. Peavy's up there calling for the screen, and McClung brings it down, completely guarded, pulls up, drains it, and I mean, he was guarded by someone probably 4 inches plus taller than him, hand in his face, and I mean, he goes crazy. I loved that team that year. And after the game, I mean, there was time. It wasn't a buzzer beater, time left on the clock, but not enough time for UT to get another possession and get a chance to score. So Tech gets the win there in Austin. And I remember McClung in an interview kind of just ends up telling them, hey, I got to go celebrate with my teammates. You know, like that's what it is. We're all about the business. We're all about, you know, we need this interview from McClung. We need to hear his words and everything. And I remember he has a headset on and he's like, I'm sorry, guys. I got to go celebrate with my team, and takes his headset off and he's gone. And that's,
I love that culture.
I loved that.
I feel like that's a good one.
Speaking of NBA legends and upcoming NBA legends, Karl Malone.
Dunk contest judge.
Yes. The mailman, legend, 2-time MVP. Also, not too great of a person on the outside, which is the controversy I had seen. If you're unfamiliar, Malone was 20 years old, got a 13-year-old pregnant. Family did not file charges, but later sued for paternity, and they basically came to a settlement. He's out of the kid's life. When he finally did meet his son, it was when he was 17, and he had told him it was too late for him to be his father. He would have to make it on his own. He ended up in the NFL, so he did great, 5 years of that. And then, just when you think it doesn't get worse, he did it again, and this time had twins.
Cool.
So he had twins, Daryl and Cheryl Ford.
Oh, what a
Daryl
combo.
and Cheryl.
Daryl and Cheryl, both
Daryl and Cheryl.
his daughters. He didn't acknowledge them until 1998, and they were born in 1990. And they played in the WNBA for 10 years after that. So there was a lot of controversy on why he was a judge. Because, I mean, he's great, but on the outside, he does not...
Kind of what example are you setting, I guess?
Yeah.
Why are you giving him a platform?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
That was in the 90s?
80s and 90s.
Yeah.
This is, I think, a PR question.
Yeah.
You know, at the NBA, is this someone you want representing you, or is this something that we don't really care about?
Yeah, are they just looking past it, or I don't know. That is a good PR question.
And I was talking to my aunt, who's very heavily involved in PR and broadcasting and things like this, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, he's a great person. He's down to earth, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Girl, did you ever hear this, or this?"
So maybe his PR people were like, okay, like let's have you be in the dunk contest and
Sweep it under.
yeah,
Sweep it under.
exactly. Like try to change the narrative.
I guess I would, and plus in the 90s, the way they ran the media.
Michaela Garvin said, "Not so fast, sir."
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
I'm gonna call you on your bluff.
We're not lying today.
Did her research.
I did my research.
Definitely got some things got swept under the rug for him to be 20, that'd be going on, impregnate a 13-year-old, and nothing.
Well, I think if that would happen today,
Oh, yeah.
It
my
would
gosh,
be
it would
such
blow
a
up.
big thing.
he would be canceled immediately.
He would be fired. He wouldn't have even had the chance to go on and have the career he had.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, just because her parents chose not to press charges in this day and age, somehow, some way, it would get to the public eye.
Yeah.
It would. And that, I don't know.
No sweeping that one underneath the rug if it happened today.
You can't come back from that kind of stuff.
No, it'd be detrimental to a career.
People keep receipts.
Receipts will get you.
People will keep the receipts.
We'll get you.
Talking about receipts, does DK Metcalf in the celebrity game, is there going to be some receipts showing his eligibility?
I wonder when his drug test will be. I guess it's got to be sometime this week.
Guys, he's insane.
But also, okay,
He's insane.
he went off in the in the celebrity all-star game, but let's not forget, like, he's an athlete. It's not like he's Kane Brown and just miraculously is athletic. I mean, the man in his NFL career in his past 4 seasons has had 900 plus receiving yards.
Yeah.
And I did some research and found out that at one point he was considering training for the Olympics. So are we that surprised?
He's fast.
And have you guys seen that video of him during, I think it was football All-Star weekend, where he literally jumps up, catches the ball, one arm, all the way up, and how high was he jumping? And everybody's surprised that he's dunking.
freak of nature.
He can literally do it.
And I think a representative I saw somewhere of the NFL did say that the drug tests are completely random and monitored by like a person or a company. But I mean, it's funny timing.
They swear that it's random because they do that. I forgot exactly who it was. He had his sleeves up during the NBA season. He had the muscles, you know, and they were like, "Oh, random drug test." Yeah. No, it's not random.
They definitely, I would probably guess, target people after good performances.
Good performances, or at least looking like jacked, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a crime to be in the weight room.
It is a crime to be in the weight room.
Goodness.
But the teams for the celebrity game, it was all very Utah Jazz themed because Dwayne Wade, who is a minority owner of the Jazz, he was one captain. And then Ryan Smith, who's the governor of the Jazz, they got to be the team captains. And so maybe that's why Karl Malone got to be involved.
Yes,
because he's a Utah Jazz legend.
I did see a couple of takes on that and how, okay, yes, he was a Utah legend, but was there not anybody else? Like, could you not
have to choose?
Yeah, like, he did great things in the games, but I mean,
yeah, definitely a PR decision there.
Those actions must not be forgotten.
They must not be forgotten.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the Celebrity All-Star game though was Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
Playing defense on 21 Savage. They're on the same team.
Did you guys see
on the exact same team, the announcer's like, "Oh, wrong way, wrong way."
City Lincoln.
I was like, "Okay, well."
Did you guys see what's his name? Jimmy Kimmel's assistant Guillermo?
Oh,
yes.
Man.
He completely airballed it and put his hands in the air and was like, "Woohoo!"
He wanted a piece of DK. That was the funniest part.
Yes.
He's so funny.
And also the half court shot at the very
The
end.
Miz.
DK's face.
The Miz almost tied that game.
That would have been insane.
I would have been wild.
See, this was more interesting than the actual one.
Yes, and it was. I feel like it was more competitive too.
Yes.
Keep the dunk contest. Keep the celebrity game.
Kick the stars to the side.
Literally, I'm sick of them. Like,
I'm sick.
Jason Tatum.
I'm sorry.
Rocks.
Go Duke, but
Get out of here. And also,
funny.
Richard Jefferson was a clown.
Yes.
Pulling off his thing, being a ref.
Yeah.
Then playing, the announcer when he was playing was like, those were the best minutes he's ever gotten in his career. I was like, bro, oh my gosh. I know that they just not roast him like that.
I like the celebrity game. I think it's always been fun. Justin Bieber's celebrity game. Best one.
Are we bringing back Justin Bieber
Best
this week?
Common theme in the.
We have to bring him back because his birthday is next week on Wednesday. You know how I know?
But it's your birthday.
That's
you
what I'm
top
saying.
that birthday.
We have twin birthdays.
Yeah, the Biebs will forever be my favorite all-star celebrity.
That was a good one.
Game.
Didn't DJ Khaled have some involvement
I
there?
don't even ever want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it.
Wait, was the Fergie national anthem at an
Girl,
all-star
that was
weekend?
6 years ago.
Yes,
Was that at an all-star
was
weekend
like
or was
6
that
years
at a
ago.
playoff?
No, it was all-star, and everyone's reactions were
Steph
priceless.
Curry. Oh my gosh.
I wish we could take a break to insert that video. The whole thing. Everybody listen, and if you don't, go watch it. We'll link it.
Andreas, can we have a little clip?
Fergie. Okay.
We can make that last a little bit longer.
Moving along, let's talk about the Tiger Woods prank this past week.
He's back from his 7-month, competition hiatus, I guess.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because he hasn't played in elite competition since the British Open.
Do you know why?
I think it's still still issues from the car accident.
Yes, so he's still working on coming back from that, which is a major one, especially having plates in his ankles, I want to say. He has some...
He almost lost his leg.
Yeah, I mean, and just the way you play golf and the torque and things, that definitely creates challenges when you have a swing like his as well. But I'm happy to see him back on the tour and getting back out there as someone from a golf family.
Yeah, when you walking for 18 holes, 4 days in a row.
It's not easy.
When you almost lost your leg.
I wouldn't do it.
Give him a golf cart.
So what do we think about the prank? I mean, Hannah, do you want to dive in and say what the prank was?
Okay, so if anyone did not see, basically, Tiger Woods, he hit a drive. It was about 320 yards, and it was about 10 yards longer than Justin Thomas, who's pretty young, like maybe 29, 30, like pretty much younger than Tiger Woods. And so just as a little reminder, I guess this was the intention. I don't know. I don't want to read into it. But Tiger Woods, after they're leaving the tee box, discreetly hands Thomas an item. We'll leave it to the internet sleuths to dissect what this is, and people are zooming in. Thomas ends up throwing looks at it, throws whatever it is to the ground. Internet sleuths later determine it was a tampon. Mm-hmm. Tiger Woods handed Thomas a tampon.
Yes.
And
I think the media and some people kind of took it and ran with it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like, I, as a girl and a female, I don't really find that offensive.
I don't find it offensive at all.
Like, because Tiger Wood came out in an interview and was like, was not supposed to be offensive in any way, shape, or form. Like, we're just friends, kind of making jokes.
Yeah.
And I think people that might have gotten offended by that might not know the relationship with JT and Tiger Woods.
I literally have that written down. Like, they have a relationship and they do things like this. It'd be like one of us making a joke to each other that somebody else doesn't understand. But it's nobody else's business.
Right. Yeah.
It's our relationship, our friendship, whatever. Yeah.
And as someone that used to play golf competitively, I kind of like to see the game getting less stuffy. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, there are some people out there that when they play golf, it is, like, prim and proper.
No talking.
Yeah, you do not talk, you do not clap.
I do not like. And that's why I haven't really watched golf my whole life, because I'm like, I'm a loud person. I need to be loud. I need to be.
You would get canceled at a golf tournament.
I would get canceled at a golf tournament when you're about to swing and I scream at the top of my lungs.
Get out. Leave. Yeah. Yes, the nice golf clap. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I come from a golf family, so we always have it on in the background. Like every Sunday, we're watching a tournament at our house, and it's fun to see the different tournaments that they've done, and I think players just becoming more personable and relaxed. And I don't know, I love the JT and Wood family dynamic. I mean, throwback to the father-son tournament in 2020, where Tiger Woods and Charlie played, and JT and his dad were on another team, and Charlie left JT a note in the sand bunker that said, "This is a draw hole for you," just telling him that they're beating him. And then roles reversed, Charlie was wearing a Snoopy hat at the tournament, and people asked Charlie, like, what's up with that hat? Like, why aren't you wearing Tiger Woods' hat? Actually, no, Justin Thomas grabbed a media mic and asked him in a press conference. And Charlie kind of giggled and was like, oh, this one just fit the best today. Well, backstory to that, JT gave that to Charlie after he beat Tiger Woods. So I just think, like, that fun banter, like, they're always kind of messing with each other. And I feel like if you know that, then this prank is funny. No, it's not offensive.
Yeah.
I definitely saw some TikTok golf girlies, kind of expressing some disappointment in this action, which, I mean, tampons aren't free, so
True.
Like we get, But I definitely saw. I'm not offended by it as a female. Like it's just a fact. Like a male's always gonna be able to outdrive a female. I don't know, maybe not always, but for the majority, a professional male.
I would hope.
But you make a really good point that. You make a good point that we don't know the background of this relationship. We don't know if Tiger Woods' intentions with this prank was to be like, oh, JT, you're a little girl, so here's your tampon. Like, we don't know that.
But I don't know, like, low-key, like, I don't feel like that would be a bad comparison. Like, if someone, told me, like, oh, you're like Justin Thomas, I'd be like, oh.
Thank you.
Heck yeah. Pat on the back.
Thank you.
And also, even if you didn't take it like that, like, to me, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yes,
like, that is so funny.
It's not that deep.
I did see some anger about it, but I agree. Like, we don't know their relationship.
I think it's just two friends having fun playing around a golf.
Dudes being dudes.
Exactly.
Guys being guys.
Talking about dudes being dudes. Oh. Hannah, I'm going to let you...
I know that's not what you just said right now.
Hannah, I'm going to let you explain this next hot topic.
I'm sorry, it's not funny, but, like, that ridge to this topic is just insane.
We had a lot of requests for this topic this week because it's kind of been an ongoing situation for about 2 months now. Chris Beard domestic violence charges dropped last week. We'll just go through the timeline of when it all started about 2 months ago on December 12th. Coach Beard was arrested on a third-degree felony charge or domestic violence charge after an altercation with his fiancée. So that was a big to-do in the middle of
right before what conference got kicked off?
Yeah, right before conference. So Rodney Terry, I'm pretty sure they might have had a game that night because it was on a Monday. They might have had a game that night or maybe the next day, but Rodney Terry, the assistant, steps up, coaches him on December 23rd, so about 2 weeks later. Beard's fiance did release a new statement, which completely contradicted the original affidavit, because in the affidavit, she had told the police that Beard had choked her for 5 seconds. And you can't, not supposed to lie.
No, and that's a very, in my opinion, very specific and direct statement to say. That's not something that you just stumble and say.
I think that is sus.
Yes.
I think that is extremely sus. And that's all I'm going to say. So that's all I'm going to say.
It's a bit odd.
So on December 12th, her statement was that. And then 2 weeks later, in her apology, she says, "Chris did not strangle me, and I told that to law enforcement that evening." So, now you just contradicted yourself.
Yeah, that makes you an unreliable source.
Right.
But now it's also like, is she being silenced? Like, do you think that like, what is it?
What's your famous TikTok line that you always say?
Were you silent? Are you being silent? Or were you being silenced?
Wrong.
Oprah.
That's why you just looked at me because you wanted to say that, didn't you?
Isn't that what she says?
I think
Yeah,
so.
it was her that said that with the Meghan Markle.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, 2 weeks later, January 5th, University of Texas, Chris Beard's alma mater, fires their once beloved head coach. So Beard is unemployed. And then about 3-4 weeks, maybe like a month later, February 15th, last week, the Travis County District Attorney's Office dropped the charges. And they said, after a careful and thorough review of the evidence, recent public statements, considering Ms. True's wishes, our office has determined that the felony offense cannot be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Key in America has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And then, so that's where Beard currently is unemployed. And
I don't know,
who knows what he's doing
the
these
whole
days.
thing, I think the whole situation is very interesting because, they come out with these big, bold claims. We see him walking out of the courthouse, and, it was huge in the media. And then, poof, oh, he didn't do that. Just kidding.
It's a loaded statement to take back.
And you can't take something back like that in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the whole situation, I just think is a little fishy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a little odd, but...
Yeah, I'm going to be careful on this topic. Kind of have two dogs in this fight. Neither of them are my dogs, I'll say that. But,
you're not 10 toes down for those hounds.
I guess I just got to say, I got to be careful because I do have connections in this situation. And this headline could be my, I don't know. It just...
I don't know.
I got to be careful. I got to be careful.
I agree. I think no one really knows what happened between them unless you are them or you were there. And at the end of the day, what really happened, I think whatever did happen happens. It's in the past. They dropped the charges. He's jobless. Where do you think he goes next?
Yeah.
What is his career like after this?
Job predictions.
Okay, so I did some research, and I think that in the next couple of seasons, he could end up at Ole Miss or Georgia Tech. Now, Ole Miss is 10-17. They're 2-12 SEC play, and Georgia Tech 11-16, 3-13 ACC play. Those numbers are not good in conference. I feel like they could perhaps look for a new coach. With that being said, they'll just have to really look back at what's happened and assess the risk and the damage that could come with that. But they could also end up with a great coach. So,
and I also think like what he does in these next coming months will kind of be crucial for his career. Is he just going to disappear? Is he going to try to be out in communities, volunteering, trying to clean up his image? I think that will also kind of set the path for his career these next couple years. In the current now, I thought I'd help him look for some jobs. So I went on to Indeed and found some job listings. Right now at Olympic View Middle School, and I'm sorry if I butcher this.
Yes.
Mulictito, Washington. Chris Beard, if you're listening, they need a middle school head basketball coach. That job is opening up soon.
I've heard it's beautiful there.
Yes, great weather, nice,
I've
mild
never
summers.
heard of that place before in my life. I'm literally.
Oh, it's just north of Seattle.
Okay,
Great
perfect.
if you like seafood. That could be the next move for you. Also, if we're wanting to stay in the college realm, also found you another job listing at Bluffton University in Bluffton, Ohio. Currently, this season, they did not have a team. But last year, they went, let's see here, 6-19. So definitely if he wants to go in and make a program, make a legacy at a program, I think that could be the fit for him. And, you know, all else fails, Mexico State needs a coach, and they could really tighten up on those and really
they could tighten up on everything there, yes.
He could always straighten out in Mexico State.
Yes.
I don't know. I think Beard himself might need some straightening out. Just
two of a kind.
I don't know if New Mexico State. Yeah, I don't know if New Mexico State's really in a position right now, based on everything that's happening there, to hire someone whose charges were just dropped for domestic violence.
True.
But I'm with you. I think I could see Georgia Tech. I don't think they've been to the tournament since 2010, so they're due. Bottom of the ACC. Also, bottom of the ACC, Louisville. Louisville has had a terrible season.
Yes.
They've won two ACC games right now and only four games on the season. So I think that's a program that could really get turned around. But regardless of any program's current state, I think it's now considered a risk to hire him.
Yeah.
And I think all jokes aside, even with the middle school job opening that he could go after, I do think Chris Beard has talent as a coach. I mean, he has a proven track record. I mean, his run at Tech and at Texas before all this happened. And I think for him, it's going to be reestablishing that trust with universities to get those jobs back. And like I said before, what he's going to do in this time after, I think, will kind of help determine the path for his career. And also, like, let's be honest, I don't think he's probably stressed about getting a job right here and now, because I mean those jobs are so big. Like at Texas, one head coaching job could have you set for a while.
Yeah, and I think that the only thing that can fix this is time. I don't think that he's going to be able to go in the next season and be like, oh hey guys, like I'm ready to coach again.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not going to be a loose cannon.
Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, I'm not really going to take your word for it. But
we got to think about recruiting too.
Yeah.
I mean, now recruiting might be a little bit more difficult because of what just happened.
And ultimately, like we know as college athletes, like your parents put faith in your coaching staff to kind of mold you as a young adult. And I mean, I think parents definitely will put that into consideration if they allow their kid to play for him. But I think it all comes down to building trust.
No, but Chris, I mean, he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Once he gets that trust back and a university takes the risk and they hire him, he will be Chris Beard again. I will 100% say that.
That's why I say without a doubt, like, he will be back in the D1 world of coaching basketball.
Absolutely.
He's not made for Olympic View Middle School.
Absolutely.
He's too talented.
He's a competitor.
Yes.
And that's why I think in the ACC, where you have some blue bloods, you have Duke and you have North Carolina, I think if you put him at one of the bottom teams, Georgia Tech, Louisville, in the ACC, and he built something similar to what he did at Tech, I think it'd be cool to just throw another name out there in the ACC other than
he's like the
North
fixer-upper
Carolina
of the
Duke.
NCAA.
Yeah. You know, he used to be in our conference.
Yeah.
He was at Angelo State. Yeah. He's been in the Lone Star Conference.
Yeah,
so
I didn't
basically,
know that.
we get to claim Chris Beard as members of the Lone Star Conference.
Yes, no, thank you.
So our
We don't have to
final
claim him.
predictions for Beard. I'll go Louisville. I say Louisville looks, and I think they take a risk on him.
Yeah, and I think Louisville with the KFC Center, like they have the facilities to go make a really good program. So I would say, kind of piggybacking off of you, I think that's a good guess.
You see him at Power 5 soon?
I do. I don't think he's meant for middle schools or small.
Yeah, I don't even think he would do that. Like
he wouldn't.
No, never go anywhere below D1. I'm saying like he just
maybe mid-major. Maybe like UT Arlington. They just fired their coach, so they're looking, which is ironic because Chris Beard's assistant at Texas came from UT Arlington. Yeah, full circle.
I did see also on Indeed, Paris, Texas is JUCO is hiring, and Utah State also. So
Paris, Texas,
maybe there.
I've never heard of that place. I've lived in Texas my entire life. I've never heard of that.
It's a place.
I don't think this is the last that we will see of Chris Beard.
No.
He'll be back.
Yes.
No. Yeah. It's only, Kia said, only a matter of time, and he'll be back on top.
I could break into song again with a song, but I'm going to leave that out for the audience.
We should probably wrap the episode up now before Kinzie sings.
On that
note, actually.
Well, thank you for listening in to our second episode, and we'll see you again next Friday.
As always, send in headlines that you would like to hear about. We really appreciate the feedback. See y'all next week.
Hit him with a Stanley Cheers again.
Yep.